Hello everyone, I am back with another video bringing you guys my Summer Backlog 2014. I've been doing this for the past few years. I believe Steps to Death started it way back when, and of course, I shouldn't say everyone, but many people in the gaming community jump on board. Just a chance to really focus on the games that you've kind of acquired that you just haven't had a chance to finish or even play yet. So I think it's always a really nice time for me because one, it saves me money. I don't buy a whole lot of new games over the summer, even though very few games even come out. But two, you complete a lot of the games that you maybe started and never finished, or maybe you just haven't even, uncovered the shrink wrap for. In my case, this summer, there are actually a number of games that I've started that I have yet to finish, some of which I'm very ashamed to admit I've never finished. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first game here is for the Nintendo DS, and a very, very great series of games that I've unfortunately just not kept up with, just because they've come out pretty consistently over the course of the past few years, and that is Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box. I've completed The Unwound Future, which was actually the first game that I played, and The Curious Village, which is the first game in the series. This is the second game, if we're talking sequentially, that I've started. I'm actually at the very end of Chapter 1, I believe, but these are always just really great visual novel, puzzle, point-and-click adventure games, if you will. Really, really good fun, and the cutscenes especially are always just an absolute joy to watch, just because it's so well animated, and the voice acting and the music and everything in these games is just terrific. So I'm really looking forward to playing through this. This shouldn't take me too long. I could probably power through this in a week if I really wanted to. So really looking forward to playing Layton's second adventure there. The next one is a Tales of game on the 3DS. It's probably the only one that's on the 3DS, to my knowledge, of course. Is Tales of the Abyss 3D. And definitely not one of the most, acclaimed games in the series, because the protagonist, Luke, is just an absolute jerk, just ignorant son of a gun, for the first probably 10 hours of the game. And it isn't until a major plot twist, probably 10 to 12 hours into the game, that things really kind of change. I obviously don't want to get into the details to spoil anything, but that's really when the game picks up. So if you've started this game and really were just turned off by it, I completely understand most people are. But if you get past that little hunch, the game is actually really, really good, and the story especially is really gripping, and it definitely is worth playing through if you're a Tales of fan. Everything you could want in a Tales of game, nice music, great graphics, very, I guess, approachable and addicting battle system, your action RPG. Really good fun. I'm about 34 hours in, and the game, depending on how much of a completionist you are, you could probably finish it in about 40, so I'm really nearing the end here. But I tend to grind a lot more than I really need to, just so I can go through and just power through some of the bosses. So there's three. The game's kind of split up into three different segments, and I've just entered the third segment. So I probably have about 10 to 15 hours, depending on how much I choose to grind towards the end. But I'm already super overpowered, so I probably won't. But a really great game, and I'm looking forward to finishing this. And then the next one, I'm really ashamed to admit I have not finished this game. I should have completed it back when I started it 2 summers ago. Probably my favorite Final Fantasy, right up there with 13, but I haven't played 7, 6, 4, 5, 10, 12. Yeah, okay, we're not going to get into that right now. Final Fantasy 9, a just wonderful, wonderful game. The game can't be praised enough. Just, a childlike, heartfelt story and cartoony art style, absolutely amazing music, and a great battle system. Everything you can want in a Final Fantasy game, right here. But I never finished it. I got to the 4th disc or the 3rd disc. You're in the. I just remember you were in this snowy area, like in the mountains or something. And there was this boss that I came across that I was just really, really underpowered. I didn't do a whole lot of grinding or preparation for the boss, and he just obliterated me. And I was just like, I don't feel like going back and grinding, so I just put it away. So I need to go back and finish this. I'm just going to start off right where I was. If I need to, I'll look up some gameplay or some, how-tos or walkthroughs to kind of get me on track as to where the story was. But I have a pretty nice recollection as to what was going on. So I'm looking forward to playing this and finishing it. And perhaps moving on to some of the other PS1 Final Fantasy entries, but definitely one that needs to be completed, and again, I'm ashamed to admit that I haven't finished it yet, but really looking forward to that. The next game we have here is Sly 2 Band of Thieves. I got about 65-70% of the way through this, and I had never finished that, so I want to do that, because these are actually really easy platinums. I'm not one to, trophy hunt or achievement hunt or whatever. But as long as you just literally play the game, each game to completion, you get a platinum trophy, which is kind of fun. So I want to complete Sly 2 because I never have, and then I might move on to Among Thieves, the third entry, just because I've never played it. Or I might just jump right onto Thieves in Time, the most recent PS3 entry, because while it was a different development team, I've heard nothing but great things. But Sly 2 Band of Thieves, most specifically, is going to be the focus on the backlog here. My favorite game of all time, Kingdom Hearts HD, 1.5, 4.5 days over 3. Yeah, that one. I'm specifically focusing on Final Mix, the first game. I'm literally at the end of the world. That's the name of the world that you're at towards the end of the game. I'm literally at the point where you're just going to fight that crazy string of bosses. If you haven't played the game, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but yeah, it's pretty intense, the number of bosses and the level of difficulty and challenge that those bosses give you. But I am so unbelievably overpowered right now, because I'm not playing on Proud Mode, I'm playing on Standard, and I think I'm like level 65, so I have no doubt I'm just going to power through it. But what I also want to do is go back and fight all of the extra bosses that are unlocked once you complete the game, so like the Ice Titan, Sephiroth, well, I think the Ice Titan's actually in the Hades. No, the Hades Cup I need to complete too. But you unlock that when you seal the keyhole to Hollow Bastion. I'm all over the place. But bottom line is I want to go back and beat all the extra stuff that's kind of unlocked once you complete the game. I've already done some of the things that I've never done before, which is collect all the Dalmatians, and as well as all the Trinities. I've done that. And what else have I done? I've completed 100 Acre Wood, the Winnie the Pooh level, because when I first played the game back in the day, there's not really a great sense of direction in that world if you're familiar with it. You have to go visit, well, first of all, you have to find all the torn pages scattered around all the worlds that you visit. There are 5 of them. And then in addition to that, you have to go back to Merlin's little hut in Traverse Town and go into each of those pages and kind of play out different scenarios. But there's really not so much direction as to where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do when you visit those pages. But I did that. I completed it, which was awesome and a lot of fun, because there's really no level of challenge in those levels. It's more just experiencing the story and interacting with the characters. But I love this game. It's my favorite game of all time. I can't wait to complete it and go back and beat all the extra stuff involved in that game. Good stuff there. And then the final game is another Final Fantasy game. One that is the sequel to one of my favorite Final Fantasy games, 13, and that is 13-2. Of course, Lightning Returns, the third installment in this crazy long-running series here, was recently released this year. Haven't picked that up, haven't played it yet, and I have some gift cards, so if it drops down to the $30 to $20 mark, I'll probably snag it, but I have to finish this first. And I've heard that this isn't too challenging of a game to complete 100% platinum, It's about 40, 50, probably about 50 to 60 maybe hour, adventures. So if you're going to do that, I would like to just beat it, but I'm already 25 hours in, and I'm at the very end of the game, and before I beat, the final boss, I'm going to go back and collect many of the fragments, and in so doing, kind of level up my characters a bit, so I'm a bit overpowered, so that when I go to the final boss, I can just obliterate him. I like to do that in RPGs, but that's just me. So, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of time that I need to invest in this if I want to just complete it, beat it, but if I do want to complete it, 100%, there's going to be a lot more involved with that, so we'll see how that goes. But again, I have a lot of RPGs here, which may sound, like a pretty daunting task, but most of them I'm like literally 70+% of the way through the game, if not literally on the verge of beating it in like one sitting. So, a lot of really great stuff there. I'm also going to be taking part in the Pete's Game Room Gentleman's Challenge, which we do every so often. you're paired up with someone and you're basically challenged to beat a game within, some time frame, typically a month, month and a half or so. This one is going to be about 2 months, if not 3, because I think August 31st is the deadline to complete your game. But the deadline here is actually in a few days, 2 or 3 days, and we're going to be paired up with someone. So I gave them a list of games. I'm not going to list all those games that I listed on the site, but one of those games will be added to this backlog, of course. But 4 of the games that I put up there were some Wii games, because I have a crazy Wii backlog that I've just not had a chance to get through. I'll show those real quick. Metroid Other M, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, which I, of course, got the Motion Plus adapter so I can finally play this game, and then Donkey Kong Country Returns. I've not played any of these games, not one, so that'll be really fun. I'm actually kind of partial to Skyward Sword. I hope I get that, but we'll see. So anyways, guys, that was a long video. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, I'm already late to the party because Mike Aerodynamics beat me to the punch. He already put up his Summer Backlog video. But I got around to it, and here it is. So let me know what games you guys are focusing on, if any. Of course, video responses, feel free to do those. Believe me, in the comment section below, maybe 5 to 10 games you want to focus on. Of course, this isn't, restricting yourself to just playing these games, because I love jumping on Uncharted 3, playing that online. I'd like to get Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS because I don't have a Wii U, and play some of that online with one of my gift cards, because I never played that game, which is crazy. And then any other games that, I just want to pick up and play with my friends. I'll do that. I'm not restricting myself here, but I do want to focus on these games because many of which I've already started. I just need to finish them. So, great stuff. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.